And then look up. Who is doing the intro?
Yeah.
It's Aleri.
All right, you're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Daybreak on television Nigeria. Right now, we're moving to the newspaper segment where we look at stories making headlines on our national dailies. And Eunice, what story do you have with you there?
Yes, on this note, we'll start off with the Leadership newspaper, and basically the stories making headlines on Leadership newspaper this morning. Right below the masthead, we have a picture story featuring Major General Martin Luther Agwe on his 70th birthday celebration, along with others who were there to celebrate with him. Right under the picture story, we have Senate recants moves funds from 30 MDAs to finance 2019 polls. That you'll find on page 4, and right below it is a rider, probes Social Investment Fund, SureP. We also have another headline, Dutch firm invests 144 billion naira in Kogi agriculture. Other headlines, alleged killers of Kaduna monarch nabbed. That you'd find on page 2 of Leadership newspaper. We also have here DSS grills Oshomole over APC primaries. You'll find that on page 5. IDP orders sack of drunken police officer in Lagos. I can imagine what a drunken police officer would be doing with a gun. That's what happens, and they become trigger happy, and just a lot of unfortunate incidences. Exactly. Settle ASU demands, Senate tells FG. You'll find that on page 13. Court denies El Zakzaki bail. That you'll find on page 5 of Leadership newspaper. And those are the stories making headlines on Leadership newspaper's front page today.
And on Daily Trust here, we have attack Ekwerimadu. Police under fire. Senate furious as DSP threatens to release CCTV clips. 4 cops, 1 civil defense nabbed for negligence. You'll find that story on page 4 and 41. Suspect, I didn't know owner of house. You can just imagine he's talking about how can you not know the owner of the house, then you just go there.
It's like you visiting the villa to rob and you say you don't know the owner of the house. This is our legislative quarters, for crying out loud.
Both buying split senators. Oh, you find that story too on page 9. Below that, the rider stories, there is FG mopping up PVCs with SIP funds. That is PDP saying that. Then program transparent, says APC. Below the picture story there, we see minimum wage. Buhari decide after studying report, FG. And the rider story below it is income level determine minimum wage. That is El-Rufai saying that. You find those stories on page 6, and even another rider story, the current state profile can't carry 30,000. You find that story on page 6. And below the story again, we see suspected killers of Kaduna monarch arrested. You find that story on page 4. Senate seeks national burial honor for Tony, and then you find that story on page 10.
Yeah.
And beside the picture story on your right, Prince Charles receiving copies of the Red Book, an anthology of Benin history by Oba Oware 11 for himself and Queen Elizabeth 11 of England in Abuja yesterday. That is all we have on the Daily Sun.
Oh, moving on, we have on the Blueprint newspaper right below the masthead, we are fixing Nigeria after mind-boggling mismanagement. This is coming from President Muhammadu Buhari himself. That you'll find on page 6 of Blueprint newspaper. Right beside it, why I killed and had sexual intercourse with my mom's corpse. That is really, really one story you might want to look out for on page 5. Court denies El Zakzaki bail. orders reinstatement of 77 Kaduna district heads. A banner headline here says, "To Senate deducts from MDAs to fund INEC." You see this on page 6. Riders below: Power loses 25.5 billion naira. Education, 10 billion naira. Planning, 8 billion naira. Health, 8 billion naira. Science and technology, 7 billion naira. Trade, 7 billion naira. Defense and NSA, 4 billion naira, amongst others. Another rider leaves out 578 billion naira constituency projects. Below is a picture story of suspected kidnappers nabbed in Kaduna State yesterday. You also have Niger Delta Ministry assessed only 10% 2018 budget, says the minister. You'll find that on page 16. Right beside it, Niger raises alarm over poisonous meat in markets, page 13. Faulty chamber public address system forces reps adjournment. You find that story on page 9. Police sack drunken officer in Lagos. Order bear palace closure. Page 5, you'll find that story on the Blueprint newspaper.
I try to understand why his son will decide to kill the mother because of something I don't know.
It is disheartening, not just killing, but also having sexual intercourse with her cops. Who does that? It is really, really surprising. You would want to check out the details on page 5 of Blueprint newspaper.
Oh, moving forward, I have a deadly trust with me here, and the striking story then, in fact, the one that caught my attention was after 2 rounds of DSS interrogation, Oshomole takes off for USA. Where do you want to
You might want to call it running, you might want to call it going to cool his head from the interrogation. And whatever you call it, it's quite surprising. Anyway.
Yeah, below the nameplate there, with 95% of states can't pay 30% as minimum wage. Governor Umahi says that. You find that story on page 5 of the Daily Trust. And there's a picture story here that says commercial cyclists protest in front of EcoBank in Maraba, Nasarawa State yesterday over the state security men's refusal to release a motorcycle thief who ran into the premises of for safety. You also find this story, I think, it's not written there. I think you find that story on page 5. And below it, there's a rider here that says Kaduna DSS parade 6 over Adara's killing. And beside that story, we find APC, PDP senators clash over federal government social intervention fund. And you find that story on page 3. I'm sure you want to read that. CBN defends Naira with $9.5 billion in 6 months. You find that story on page 10 of the Daily Trust.
Okay, we move on to Nigerian Pilot newspaper. And right below the masthead is a picture of Oshomole. Arms on that chin, he looks like he's actually thinking of something, who knows what. But the story right beside it, anxiety in APC over corruption probe of Oshomole. The writer there is PDP alleges cover-up by presidency. You find that story on page 4. Kaduna DSS parade 6 suspected killers of Agom Adara. Says service tracked killers after body was found. You find that on page 5. I read about the details some time ago of how the monarch was, kidnapped and then killed after the ransom was paid, which was really bad, touching. But then
Ronaldo's wonder goal not enough. Then the striking story there is Eguaho injured, Mikel out for the season, and on our left there we see it below the paper. We see Ronnie wanted Nigerian swan song. So for me, that is what the striking story that I have on the sports.
And please don't try to banter sports with me. You know I wouldn't respond.
I don't know anything about sport, but at least I know that the women are trying, and
yes, they're doing a great job. At least I know that part.
Yeah, I
Yes, that's it for the newspaper review on Daybreak Nigeria show. So if you want to catch up on the headlines making the rounds on today's dailies, visit the newspaper stands. We now take a break and we'll be back shortly. Please stay tuned.
Welcome to Living Treasures Academy. Enjoy a conducive and serene learning environment. Qualified and experienced teachers. Equipped computer laboratory and library. Secured atmosphere. Extracurricular activities. And all-embracing curriculum for total development of the child. Comprehensive education for leadership. Join us today from crèche to secondary levels. Living Treasures Academy, committed to excellence.
For joining us. Right now, we'll be moving on to business news, where we want to see what is happening in our business world. Chichi is out there waiting for us.
Welcome to Business News. I am Chiwendi Osisiago. President Muhammad Buhari has transmitted the 2019-2021 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper to both chambers of the National Assembly for consideration and approval. President of the Senate Bukola Saraki and Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara read Buhari's cover letter on the document in the chambers during plenary on Tuesday. In the letter, the President told the lawmakers the timely passage of the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper would allow the 2019 bill to be prepared on time for laying before the National Assembly. The federal government has also pegged the price of crude oil for the 2019 budget at $60 per barrel, the exchange rate at 305 naira per United States dollar, and daily crude oil production at 2.3 million barrels per day. Investors in the nation's equities markets on Tuesday recorded 38.14 billion naira increase in their holdings at the close of trading on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. At the close of trading, 14 gainers pushed the market capitalization up from 11.700 trillion naira on Monday to 11.738 trillion naira on Tuesday, while 23 stocks declined. The Nigerian Stock Exchange All-Share Index expanded by 0.33% to settle at 32,154.03 basic points from 32,048.18 BPS recorded on Monday. A total of 220.710 million shares worth 2.531 billion naira exchanged hands in 3,287 deals. Activity was mixed as volume traded fell by 5% to 149.653 million units, while value traded appreciated 59.6% to 2.793 billion naira. The top 5 performers were Cement Company of Northern Nigerian PLC, Nigerian Aviation Handling Company PLC, Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, United Bank for Africa PLC, and Nelson Nigerian PLC, which recorded respective gains of 9.81%, 5.29%, 4.26%, 4%, and 3.62% respectively. The worst performers were Fitson Healthcare PLC, Mutual Benefit Assurance PLC, UACN Property Development Company PLC, Niger Insurance PLC, and Livestock Feeds PLC, which dropped by 10% and 9.60%, 9.09%, and 8.77% respectively. The Central Bank of Nigeria, in collaboration with the African Institute for Remittances, are fine-tuning strategies to conduct the first ever remittances household survey for the country. The survey, which would be conducted with support from the National Bureau of Statistics and the National Population Commission, is being planned for the fourth quarter of next year. Standing on the heels of the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, the exercise will provide scientific estimates for the establishment of remittances legal and the regulatory framework for the country. Emefiele, who spoke on Monday in Abuja at the opening session of a workshop by the African Institute for Remittances, noted that as a recipient country, Nigeria topped African countries for inflow at the end of 2017. That's business news from Television Nigeria. I am Chiwendu Osisio. Thanks for watching.
For almost a decade, the Nigerian army have given their all to ensure that our dear country is not overrun by Boko Haram insurgents. Some have in the process paid the ultimate price, while many will forever live with indelible scars occasioned by their determination to protect the country, no matter the hurdle. Despite these, they have remained resolute and undaunted, and today, all territories the insurgents want to control of have been recaptured and normalcy restored. And now, for the first time in a long time, the end of Boko Haram is foreseeable. Therefore, the wisest thing for the remaining insurgents to do is to surrender today or face total destruction from the army. Remember, the Nigerian army will stop at nothing to ensure that total peace is restored in all parts of the country. So, be wise and embrace peace today or get ready to be ruthlessly dealt with.
You're still on Today Break Nigeria show on Television Nigerian, and you know you never overemphasize health-related issues, and so we'll be moving on to healthy living. Today's topic is one I look forward to: sunburn with Diane. I wonder what Diane has for us today. Let's find out.
Hello viewers, welcome to today's episode of Healthy Living. Today we will be looking at sunburn.
After this one,
Sunburn, also known as red, can sometimes cause swollen and painful skin due to the overexposure to ultraviolet rays from the sun. Sunburn can vary from mild to severe. How soon can a sunburn begin depends on the skin type, sun's intensity, and how long you have been exposed to the sun. Symptoms of sunburn: we have weakness, chills, darkness on the exposed area of the body, headache, and sometimes you may even feel like you have the flu. Let's look at the preventions. The best way to avoid sunburn is to minimize the amount of time skin is exposed to the sun. Sit in locations with shades. Wear a wide-brimmed hat. To protect the face, use a face cap. Protect the eyes with sunglasses. Avoid going out in the hottest parts of the day. Always use creams that have sun protection factor if you must be under the sun. Wear the right clothes. Clothes like long sleeve, shirt or pant trousers. Reapply sunscreen every 2 hours or more often if you are sweating. Let's look at the treatments. Drink water to help rehydrate the skin. Do not expose skin further to the sun. Cool the skin by having a cool bath. Use lotions that contain aloe vera or sun protection factor to soothe and moisturize sunburned skin. Bottom line, your skin will heal, but real damage has been done. Repeated sunburn puts you at a substantial risk for skin cancer and premature skin aging. And I want people to learn from the burns, says Dr. Bracken. Thank you for staying with me on Healthy Living. I remain your host, Diana Odra.
now I know that there are certain things that you don't need to do when you don't want to have the effect of sunburn on your skin. And right now, I think that I've learned so much that another thing I'm proud of is that most of us that are dark skinned, you know, this sunburn thing
You
don't
barely
really
need to
affect
worry.
us. So I don't need to worry about it. But I will still worry because Diane told us there that we should wear clothes that will cover our body, we should take a lot of water, and we should use lotion that have a lot of aloe vera, right?
Exactly.
So,
speaking of water, you know, that was one take home I had from the healthy living segment today. Amidst others, you never go wrong with water as long as the health is concerned. Either you're drinking it, bathing with it, it has its positive effects on you. So we learned something from the healthy living segment today.
all right, let's move on. Right now, we have some beauty tips. Uchechi is always there to tell us what is happening in the styles, fashion styles. Uchechi, over to you.
Have you heard of the trending beard gang? The beard epidemic has taken over and we can no longer continue to ignore it. In the past, growing beard was the exclusive preserve of the aged and the world. But today, the story is different. It's not just a fashion item for the big boys, but also those in the spotlight are catching up with this trend, and many of them are really going out of their way to spot facial hair, knowing that ladies go gaga over good-looking bearded men celebrities. But if you think you have seen the best of bearded Nigerian entertainers, just hold your breath until you are done saying this. For many men, wearing a belt is a means of expression, a way to show their masculinity. However, new research shows that your belt might be saying more about you than you realize, and it might not be the message you want to broadcast to the world. But let me ask this question: is it really essential for a man to keep beards to feel he is a man? I mean, what's all this fuss behind joining the beard gang? Why do some women have some special love for men with beards and some others just hate to love it or love to hate it? Well, Aslaf and Style was in the streets today, and here are some people's reaction on beards gang.
It's good for anyone who loves it. Unlike me, I love hair. I keep it because I have it. So I give myself any style I want with my hair. It adds to my handsomeness.
I saw a guy that is keeping beards. I feel irritated. So that is I don't even like something hair. I like guys that keep beards. Because when they keep the beards and they trim it, cut it neatly, it makes them very, very handsome. They look very cute.
Personally, I see it as a kind of thing that adds beauty to a man. And me, as you can see, I don't have much of it. And I'm trying to grow it, but it's not forthcoming.
Removing it every day, the next day the thing is back. Removing it every day, the thing is back. Okay, since it is the system in the body for the beard to keep growing, then let me maintain it. There is this saying in Oliver Gosling, it is to conquer. If the bird has learned how to fly without perishing, I've also learned how to shoot without missing. If since the bears are decided to be coming without stopping, and you just keep maintaining it.
Wow, so interesting. Well, in case you have a plan of growing your beard, remember, growing a beard is one thing, and knowing how to take care of it is another. No good beard happens by accident, and you may love to know that beard grooming is never easy. And so if you see someone with a well-grown beard, respect him, because he puts in the time and works to make it happen. That's the size of our package today. I am Uchechi. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, okay, you just touched my heart.
Exactly, and you know,
I'm a fan of men with beard. You know,
Really?
sometimes I remember some time ago, my husband came back home all shaved. I said, what is this? No. And funny enough, he was traveling, so before he came back, it has already grown back.
Oh,
So
really?
I felt better. I don't like plain men. I just want to tell Mr. Charles to go and grow beard.
yes, so Mr. Charles is right behind the scene, and so he's watching. And then please take note, Mr. Charles. We won't see you with beards in the next couple of months. I'm a big fan of beards too, as long as you keep it well. And to think that Uchechi calls her name with so much pride, fills up all her mouth. That's interesting. Quite an interesting one from Uchechi, and I got laughing when that guy said he has been trying so hard, but it's not forthcoming. Well, that's a nice one day. Good way to transit straight to the entertainment gist from Ginika with her energy and all that she just likes to talk about entertainment in all its fullness. Ginika, what do you have? No flattery intended.
Okay, so on the entertainment scene this morning, the god of entertainment is practically celebrating the new birth of children from entertainers. Now we have this one from a former Fiona who happens to be the most beautiful girl in Nigeria in 2010. She welcomed the baby girl a couple of days ago with her husband Frank Irendile. Both of them got married in the year 2016 and they had their first child in 2007. You also agree with me that you've also welcomed her child in 2018. Yes, this year. Now moving away from that, I'll say a very big congratulations to them. Now moving away from that, an Uber driver has called out Duncan Mighty for refusing to pay him his fee after he actually picked Duncan Mighty from on his way to the airport from Averse Way by Alibat in Lekki, and he took to Twitter to announce that he's really pained that Duncan Mighty would tell him, hurriedly, that when you get to the airport, just send your account number and I'll pay you the money. They are not until now. It's over 2 weeks now. He hasn't heard a word from Duncan Mighty and he's pained by this stuff. And Duncan Mighty hasn't really come out to say anything about it. We hope to hear from you really quickly. Now moving away from Duncan Mighty's story to this one coming from Runtown. Now, I told you yesterday that a woman in United States by her name is Ren Sean, she called out to Runtown saying that his brother actually frauded her and took some money away from her. Now Runtown reacted through his manager yesterday saying that this is all lies and the allegations are just to blackmail him. Well, the woman has posted some videos online yesterday and calling out Runtown and his brother that is this not your brother and the check actually sent. Take a look at this video.
Is this not your brother with my check?
I would say this is internet fraud gone wrong, honestly. Runtown, we need to hear from you and your brother really quickly because your fans, especially me, I am sad about this. Come and clear yourself really quickly. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of it. I need to go right now. I actually had a very terrible experience on my way to work this morning and it is hurting me.
Really? Can we hear you?
We know that the Federal Road Safety Corps, they do their jobs, trying to, check your car, blah, blah, and the rest. But why would you want to check somebody in the morning when the person is going to work? You're stopping me and you are telling me for my papers by...
Yeah, you are coming to do your work. I believe they are also doing their own work.
I for them and left.
You know, you resume.
I mean, they resumed before 8. I understand they're supposed to resume 8.
So
what were they doing around 6 o'clock? We're not saying you shouldn't do your job, but don't interrupt other people. Like, don't
you know, they probably have the mindset. They probably have the mindset that just as you're rushing to do your work, they too resume to do their work. So basically,
thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Ginika, for you see why I call her the queen of entertainment. Of course, she's the queen of entertainment in TVN, and very soon she's going to be the queen of entertainment in Nigeria and in the world.
Which is she's already wearing the crown in anticipation. We'll now move on straight to sports with our very own sports correspondent. He is on standby, Emmanuel.
Center of Day Break Nigeria today. I had a good time enjoying the show from the beginning. I hope you guys did too. Now we're on to the latest news making the rounds in the world of sports. If you are a sports follower, you know that yesterday was a great one. It was a great day in Europe. It was Manchester City's day. It was a match that many people anticipated. People saw Juve. People thought Juve was going to take the day, but it wasn't meant to be because Manchester stole the night, even though Cristiano Ronaldo's brilliant goal, a volley, all right, I mean, could not help him. A long pass that dropped into his path over his right shoulder was set to give Juve a victory against his former club minutes in the play in Turin. I mean, it was overturned because Man United hit back through Juan Mata's free kick and a scrambled own goal from the cross that bounced into the net of two defenders on the line for a 2-1 win. United boasts in its normal characteristic, you know, Jose Mourinho, a former Inter Milan coach, taunted his found fans after the final whistle by cupping his right hand to his ear and was confronted by some Juve players. Still standing, Juve still leads the Group H by 2 points from Man United, and it's 2 more points back to Valencia, which beat visiting Young Boys 3-1. United can advance by beating Young Boys at home. United can advance by beating Young Boys at home on November 27. You can see Jose Mourinho said that he has not had a very good season, good time this season in the EPL, but I think that match, that win against Juve is a big boost. And for Ronaldo, well, he did his part. He had a volley, a very nice goal, a classical finish, but that wasn't enough to give Juve the deserved win of the night. Even though Juve resumed scoring at the 65th minute of the game, Man U came back strongly. It was a big comeback. It was one of the memorable moments in the history of UEFA Champions League. At the 89th minute against a strong side like Juve, who has come to the finals over 3 times, it is unprecedented. Kudos to Mourinho's boys. I hope they go all the way to get the title. Well, back to England at the Etihad, it was Man City who took the day against Shakhtar Donetsk. I mean, beating them 6-0 at home. I mean, and the match will be remembered for a very, very comical penalty played by, awarded for Raheem Sterling's fall when kicking the turf in a failed attempt to shoot. Their wins nicely set up Manchester's derby against the Premier League on Sunday. You know, the 2 big giants in Manchester will be meeting on Sunday in the EPL. We're talking about Manchester United and Manchester City. And I think Manchester City going into that win with this, both of them won in the Champions League, but I think Manchester City had the edge going into, the game with a good scoring spree. I think it's a good one. Now, so far, so good in the UEFA Champions League. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Roma also won, like you have told before. And no team already have joined Barcelona. You recall Barcelona qualified for the knockout stage On Tuesday, and they are the first group to have qualified for the knockout stage. And then 3 times defending champions, Real Madrid scored 4 times in the first half. At Victoria Plain before ending a 5-0 win for interim coach Santiago Solari rather. Karim Benzema had the goal in the 21st minute. Casemiro had this at the 23rd minute. Benzema again. And Gareth Bale, and then Toni Kroos. It was really a scoring spree. I think that's all we have for you on the sports update on TVN sports update this day. Back to the ladies in the studio. I know you guys say you don't watch football. I wonder why you're not sports
We're
people.
not, but funny enough, I was expecting you to say something about the women football.
Yes,
Ghana that is starting very soon.
Yes,
You
yes.
did say,
No,
I was
no.
bringing you back to local.
No,
Let's talk about local. I don't want to talk about international.
The Super Falcons coach Thomas Deneby has named the squad, a killer squad. They named
Yes, that is the name they call it.
And the good thing is how you just get to say it as if, oh yes, they should know what I'm talking about, irrespective of whatever your mentality is.
Well, the issue
But that was
is
a
no
good one.
sport is we can't do without sport.
Yes,
apart from
yes.
the fact that it's competitive, apart from the money, it's an avenue to build minds. Sports put people. In the good frame of mind. Sportsmen don't fight. Sportsmen don't argue a lot. So please, you guys.
And talking about that, what did they say about Mikel out for the season?
Yes, Mikel has been out for the season, even though he just got an injury. But beside that, he was not even selected for the squad that will play the Nigerian World Cup qualifier against South Africa and the friendly against Uganda, because football is somehow. And then Nigeria already had a basket full of teams, a basket full of players from all walks of life. So people like Mikel can rest. Though the injury not too good for him, but it will not affect our chances because he's not even in the team already.
To think that the way you actually described the whole scenario in the match, it was as if I was actually there live in the stadium.
Watching live.
Nice one there from Emmanuel.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Iman. You see why when I was talking about sport, I didn't want to go in depth because I didn't want to flop. Because Iman is always there. He got my back. So right now, moving on, what is happening?
Yes, it is on this note, right from the sports segment, we want to call it a day on today's edition of Daybreak Nigeria. Moving from different segments, we do hope that you had something to take home and start off today refreshing. Till next time we come your way again, I am Eunice Johnson saying have a beautiful day ahead.
And I am Sandra Guana. Have a beautiful day as well.